go pretty much exactly the same way?
I mean, I'm expecting a line ban immediately here from Nip. Other than that, I think that, you know, Amira is probably going to get banned from paiN because they just do not like playing against Amira whatsoever. And they're starting on the attack, so that makes definitely a lot of sense.
There we go.
There we go. Line ban is going to come through completely as expected. Although, you know, the rest of the bans, for paiN Gaming's attack, I would expect a Ying here from them. But really, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing a Blitz ban here, especially because they're dealing with Julio on the other team, and potentially a Clash ban if they want to do that, because they really were struggling to deal with Clash during Clubhouse. So maybe they will, maybe they won't. We'll see how it goes down as paiN Gaming do ban out their second operator here. Their first operator, sorry.
Yeah, you can see they're taking a fair bit of time. It is Ying taken off again, as you said. I would be pretty surprised if they let Julio's Clash slip through. It was such a thorn in the side of their attacks. And it wasn't that she was directly getting frags, obviously. It was that she was there, slowing them down, causing them issues. And again, you can see they're discussing it. They're taking time because the map is, it's a different map. It's not Clubhouse, but there she goes. Clash taken straight off the board, and they would have been fools.
So I would expect an Echo here from Nip, just because they didn't really seem to enjoy playing against Echo whatsoever. And yeah, against Team 1, they also banned Echo once. So I would expect an Echo ban here. I wouldn't expect them to do a Mirror just because Mirror is so good on border and they are starting out on the defense. So yeah, there we go. We do see the Echo ban coming out from Nip as expected.
So that is Clash and Echo, not in their prize pool, and we saw them use Clash a lot, obviously, and it's always been a big part, well, a big part on their previous round defense. It'll be interesting to see how that translates, as well as now Mirror is there. They're going to take Vent and Workshop as their first potential defense point. You can see they're taking a little bit of time to weigh it up, as we said. Jaeger, Smoke, Valk, Bandit, and Julia is going to be bringing the Mirror.
Yeah, and Julio, easily one of the best mirrors in Latin America, if not the world. I mean, we saw him against Team 1. He was absolutely dominant performance, especially on Oregon against Team 1. And yeah, I think that he's going to have a pretty good game here so far. But we'll see how he goes down as we move to round number 1. And it's actually going to be a Ventilation Room Workshop defense to start with from Nip, and no Castle in their lineup, surprisingly.
And I will say, obviously, we saw that paiN did originally. 9 was rolling on the Maverick, and then sick pick off to Blackbeard. They brought Maverick a fair bit in the previous map, but then struggled to get him going, struggled to get him off the board, doing Mavericky things throughout their attack rounds. It's not the worst decision to bring him out of your kind of setup. They're going to rotate in the Blackbeard instead.
Yeah, and I think from the lineup that they're bringing, it kind of infers that they're expecting an upstairs defense, and I'm pretty sure most people were. I think it just has to do with mostly because of this Blackbeard pick. That Blackbeard sits on AC, and there's not really much you can do about him if Brunouts are playing board and things like that. But we are seeing a Valkyrie from Psycho, so we may actually see a decent amount of Brunout potential from Nip.
Valk is such a beast on this map and can be used so brilliantly to, as we said, get runouts, get that information that becomes so vital in getting control of things like AC unit and AC side. And again, these guys, they're not scared of that. We've seen Psycho getting those runout kills. We've seen Psycho getting those amazing picks against attackers that are more surprised than anything. So combine that with those Valk cams. OG. We're about to see some brutal stuff as Kamikaze instantly goes down.
Yeah, but not out of it just yet. Just getting too aggressive on that locker sandwich window, trying to get the pick onto the Blackbeard. Does do a decent amount of damage, but doesn't get the kill. Does go down himself, but gets revived easily as that. So no harm, no foul just yet. And already doing that much damage to a Blackbeard, pretty good, honestly.
It's definitely. Blackbeard is one of those operators in a game that's balanced arguably around headshots. Getting him off the board and getting your rotations a bit freer of his terrifying Overwatch is a big important step. And if you can take a bit of damage, obviously we're reset Kamikaze, it's a worthy trade in most people's books. GCR trying to push in from the East Balcony through Office. Look, 9 is there to back up as well. FK is currently the one on AC, curiously.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's to do with the fact that Bloodbeard's already taken a decent amount of damage so far, so we will see FK just trying to hold that area down. But don't forget, the upstairs isn't even where the site is, and Nip will start to retreat from that area as Julio... Oh, what a pre-placed Nitro from Julio! Takes one off the board. GCR already down. That's already a Blackbeard down. Julio does manage to down the Blackbeard as well. FK1 does manage to trade it out to PZD, and does manage to revive one as well. Julio with a beautiful pre-placed Nitro. That may have just saved them the round there. 50 seconds left to go on the clock. I mean, not really a huge amount of vertical play open here. FK1 will take a Nitro, but will tank it. Spawns makes his way into Customs, but will find Kamikaze at Customs Patrol. And Kamikaze will take him down beautifully. 3v4 now. Not looking too good at all for paiN Gaming to try and secure this. And yeah, they're just holding it all down.
I wouldn't say there was anything wrong with the operator selection there. From the attacks, they had the Buck on top for the soft destruction, and they had the Sledge pushing through Customs. But as you said, that mirror take against a Buck on a point like this. Kamikaze finds FK1 in the mix of that. It is now 4 versus 2 with only 15 seconds. Psycho taking down 9 from underneath, and it is now 10, and just the Thermite with the Diffuser. Again, this is paiN struggling. They're getting in these situations where they have nowhere near enough time as Psycho cleans up pretty easily, I would say.
Yeah, really nicely played there from Ninja's Pyjamas, especially from Julio, as expected, doing really well on the mirror, but very all over the place attack coming out from paiN Gaming there, especially as soon as they lost GCR. They just didn't have any idea of what they wanted to do there.
No, it seemed, as I said, they had a great operator selection, but they just didn't get a chance to properly utilize them, especially as a team, especially as a unit, every step of the way. Ninjas in Pyjamas were picking them apart. Now we are going upstairs, Armory Lockers and Archives, with generally the same setup from Nip.
Yeah, and we are seeing pretty much the same operator lineup from them, except PZD going to be playing onto the Legion this time. So we'll see how it goes down, but we're not going to see a Blackbeard coming out at all from paiN Gaming this time, which is kind of surprising, but not completely out there. Psycho will change around onto the Maestro, however, which is I'd say a welcome addition to this lineup.
It's a decent change. I mean, whether it was worth dropping the Valkyrie for that, I guess we're going to see. Psycho was a big part of the movement and the information of that team we just saw, but at the same time, they're pretty much playing like a 5-headed Hydra at the minute. Everyone seems to be perfectly in sync, which is what you only could ever dream of having as your team. Now, they are setting up a fair bit against, obviously, AC window. They want to make sure there's no speedy push from there, whether they... No, it's the joy of 6th pick. They didn't utilize it. Nip, they're happy bringing what they are bringing. Said, no Blackbeard.
And, you know, I like this mirror window, and I like the setup here from Nip, although I feel if you're going to do this, you kind of need a castle if you're going to hold down CC for this long. But this is a fairly common strategy from Border, especially from Latin American teams. They do like doing this quite a lot. And I'm expecting Julio maybe with a mini mirror or maybe with an aggressive mirror to Armory. Actually, no. Yeah, okay, so he'll put the aggressive mirror to Armory just to cover CCTV being held down so they can start playing fairly aggressively there. And you see that he's going to put the mirror down so you can see all the way down to that balcony. So great bit of intel coming out there from the mirror.
If you have mirror on this map and you don't put a mirror the way you've just seen him, guys in chat, then you are throwing away this round. That is so powerful to keeping control of that entire floor. Arguably, it's such a big point to keep your vision open and to keep, as I said, control of CCTV security and that entire walkway. Otherwise, PZD is playing, obviously, the aggressive hold on El Corridor. FK1 opens up the frags, though, taking care of a smoke, which is a big loss this early on in the round. All of his utility taken off the board as well, with some beautiful picks right across meeting.
Just Archives wall not reinforced. That is a disaster here. And paiN Gaming will make great use out of that disaster. They're going to be playing fairly aggressively now, going for that officer's take and trying to push quickly into east side. But I really just don't understand why that Archives wall wasn't reinforced. And FK1 will find yet another frag through it. What is going on right now? Psycho goes down. That's already the Maestro off the board as well. Just so much loss from Nip here.
none of those bullets landed there from the peek out across that mirror window. But as you said, it seems almost like a mistake that they forgot to reinforce that. 2 frags and 2 very easy frags with that beast of a gun on Twitch. Okay, utilizing it. GCR putting more pressure on. PZD having to pull back slightly deep into the corner, trying to hide. It's a hard place to rotate out of now unless you drop underneath, but we did see them reinforcing at least one of the hatches, so whether they did both, I guess we're not quite sure how much they've opened themselves. Kamikaze with a beautiful take against Spawns, though, through the metalwork of the metal detector. They are starting to at least get a little bit of pressure back, but this is the shakiest we've seen it.
Yeah, but there's still a Nitro in the back pocket for Julio here, and it doesn't look like paiN are quite ready to go for their execute just yet. And if you look at their lineup as well, they don't really have too much to actually go for this execute. Nitro will go out, that will successfully find Revolse and deny the plan, but GCR will trade it right on back to PZD. Kamikaze rotates to the top of metal to help out Julio to deny the plant here, and it will go down. Julio brings all the way through, gets a double kill. Beautiful from Julio, and that turns it into a 2v1. Kamikaze cleans it up with GCR. And Nip take round number 2, and again, beautifully played from Julio there, getting the 3K.
Now that was absolutely amazing. Retake the pressure there to swing round, and obviously the C4, which was the first to stop the first defuse. And then they just went for the second defuse. And I wasn't really looking at how much time they had left, but there were 2 of the rest of his team, and they weren't far out. Could they have waited just a little bit longer to allow the backup to cover that?
Well, what it was is that GCR was covering it, and then the plant started to go down, and then he must have been fairly confident that no one was going to push through just yet. He decided to push up closer so he could get a trade-off if they did come through. He knew that Mirror didn't have the Nitro anymore, so he was going to push at some point, but just a little bit mistimed, but really smart from Julio to push when he did, and not push immediately when the diffuser was starting to go down.
The joy of timing in Siege. Now Castle has finally shown his face. Psycho bringing it for the customs and supply room hold.
Yeah, so it should be pretty good from them. Let's see how the castle works out for them. I'm glad we're finally seeing a castle from Nip, because I feel like on a lot of these sites you really do need a castle, especially with the way that Nip has been playing it fairly conservatively. But so far, still flawless on the defense all the way from last map as well.
Yeah, Nip are really showing up on their defense. Obviously, this was the not their map. This was Border was paiN's map to bring, but so far you wouldn't have guessed that. Nip are really locking it down, and I've said in the previous round was the shakiest they've looked out of the 2 so far. But then Julio comes out with a triple. Julio comes out almost without panic in his play, and to retake beautifully. Now you can see they're generally reinforcing up a fair amount of this. We haven't seen a huge amount of roam on this so far. More just cover. They're covering a lot of wide angles, covering a lot of momentum. And granted, they lost 2 people fairly quickly in the previous round.
Yeah, a few people call it playing aggressively but off the site. I like to call it more lurking rather than roaming, but you are right. No matter what do you like to call it, they're not quite playing a roam game. They are playing conservatively, but they are playing off the site, and they are holding down these areas for as long as they can. You see Kamikaze will be holding one of those areas down into CCTV, and see what he can do there as paiN Gaming start to push through onto the south side balcony.
Now, 9 is trying to get some ground against that mirror window. Obviously, the big warriors, you're going to be watched. That's why that mirror window is so powerful, because it can cut off such a big potential entry. Has decided, nope, not worth it. Not going to try and throw myself at that wall. Going to pull off. Kamikaze's hanging around in CCTV as well, opening above vertical control on Border. Wow, is it important? You can see that Wag suffers some damage there, though, in just trying to be a good friend, trying to be a good teammate and opening up, and takes a few bullets. Wow, that was unfortunate timing for him, but at least he survived, I'm sure he's thinking, and Kamikaze probably owes him a drink for that favor, but Julio's still holding that mirror window above. You can see that they want to start pushing against CCTV. They want to start pushing, getting some control.
Yeah, they are starting to push in here, but we're going to move into the second half of the round now. The customs wall has been opened up successfully, but you really need upstairs control, or at least to get some picks onto that upstairs control if you want to try and do it this way. But they don't have any of that just yet, and if they try to go for a smoke plant here, I think it's going to end in disaster. And there we go, Kamikaze easily gets the first kill of the round. What? The Thermite just runs all the way in there, gets control of the diffuser again, and tries to go for a plant. And looks like pretty good here for Nip, just still trying to hold it down. No one has picked Kamikaze yet, and this is the important part. He's going to hold it down, but GCR with a prone peek does successfully take him down. Great shot from him, but PZD is waiting for the trade, and he takes down 9. Psycho takes down Spawns. It's a 2v4. Nitro is going to go out, successfully finds GCR. It's all down to FK1, pushes all the way in, does almost find Julio, but Julio does win the fight with a beautiful headshot to FK1, and Nip will take round number 3, just flawless on this defense still.
Now that was the issue we said they were doing in the previous map as well, is they just struggle to get that entry frag. They struggle to be confident enough to start going against Nip. And to be fair, Nip are giving them good reason to. These beautiful picks that they are making from multiple different floors in multiple different directions. They're keeping paiN on the back foot. They're keeping them scared of going against the main point of attack.
I also want to say that I did say that as soon as Mira doesn't get banned, Julio's going to have a whale of a time. And he is 5-0 right now.
5-0, 2 assists. He's kind of bringing it. One of those was a 3 clutch, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3K clutch he did manage to bring in. He's doing beautifully for his team here. Julio, definitely one of the better kind of, you know, if you want your dream team for Latin America, Julio is on it just simply because he can hold down the site and not give it up to anyone. And when he's on his mirror, he's just having a whale of a time, and he will be doing so. It's going to be hard for paiN Gaming to try and shut him down, as we are going to move into round number 4.
Now, obviously, Valk is showing a face swapped off from Mute. And granted, she was there for a previous round, but so far, Utility hasn't been the biggest upset for paiN. paiN just struggling, as I said, to get those frags and start getting some actual damage into Nip. The best that they have looked was when they got 2 frags just through an unreinforced wall, and some unlucky positioning on Nip's part and some great positioning on FK1's part. However, you do have the possibility to start just putting a bit of pressure on. You have your Jackal to start finding footprints. Whether they need to making things a bit more uncomfortable, I think it's kind of a mistake to not try Buck again.
It is. I think maybe a little bit of a mistake. I think what went wrong for them was not the fact that they didn't bring the Buck or the fact that, you know, Buck was a bad pick. It's just that they didn't get time to use his ability because Julio nitroed him.
Yeah, exactly. But they should look at ways to expand their play, but at the same time make it more unsteady for Nip to hold that point, try and get in and underneath. Yeah, sure, Nip are playing very well, but as we've both said, they're not having to be pushed too much. They're not having to move too much. They're very happy to hold their angles. They're not rushed. They're not stressed. You need to put the stress on. You need to put the pressure on. Buck is so brilliant at doing that. Obviously, they still have Spawns' shotgun on the Jackal, and tracking footprints is one of those things. But there it is, PZD with a beautiful C4.
Yeah, he gets the first frag of the round, and that is a huge pick. The Zofia already off the board is really going to stop any late round pushes coming out here from paiN Gaming. Let's see how it goes down as we move further into round number 4's action phase. Another Nitro coming out, pre-placed from Julio. He's waiting for any sort of push to come down, and he's pinging out exactly where that Nitro is placed so the rest of his team know there's a Nitro here. Don't walk over it, and tell me when someone else does.
Yeah, that's communication, and that is very important when you are putting live explosives on the floor and waiting and baiting. And to be fair, it worked very well for Julio. Before, you would think that paiN would be a bit more aware of this. They've just lost 1 to a C4. They lost 1 previously to a pre-placed C4. Start thinking about closing down underneath. Try and find Julio. Try and shut that down. You have a Jackal. You have a Sledge. You have a lot. Utilize it. But again, a minute 10 left. Kamikaze finds GCR. That is Sledge taken off the board. Got to see how they're going to try and shake this up. C4 goes off, but it does not get any bites. 58 seconds left, and Spawns is trying to find something as Revolt starts digging towards the point.
But there's just no smokes, there's no push at all. They don't have FK1 anymore, the Zofia charges. There's absolutely zero utility for paiN Gaming to really bring it in. And again, still relying on picks very heavily, of which they have none so far. Nip looking so strong in this defense right now, still holding it all down, but Spawns is going to find that pick. Beautiful pick from him. Does find Kamikaze just a little bit out, but 30 seconds left to go. They're going to start to try and push down. Oh no, so they do still have smokes remaining from Spawns here, but he's going to drop right down. Julio's waiting for him there in the Teller's area. It's a 2v4 now. Revolts and now going to push all the way around. The run out from Psycho does not find anything. EMPs are going to go out to see if there's any traps. But WAG just takes down Nice, runs all the way in. Revolts tries to run all the way in, but from the bottom of Metal, PZD takes him down, and Nip take round number 4, still flawless, having taken 9 defense rounds in a row so far.
That defense is looking unbelievable at this point in time. This is Nip playing how Nip can play, and my gosh, is it good? 6-0, Julio, please.
If Nip take this map, then they will have proceeded into the upper bracket finals, having not dropped a single map.
They're coming into this to win. They're not taking any prisoners. They're going against some of the best teams, and hey-ho, let's see if they can keep the roll on. Now, paiN, what can you do to shake this up? You have one more attack round against them, maybe one more total if this map goes a bit worse. How much worse can it go? They need to start thinking of what can they bring? How can they shake up a Nip that seems solid as anything?
I think they just need to concentrate a little bit more on the actual push rather than relying on picks so much. I mean, they have never really been able to get into the site unless they actually do have any of those kills. They haven't really concentrated too much on vertical play, as you said, that Nip haven't really been able to move around. They've not really needed to. The only successful or near successful attack there's been was on Armory Lockers, but honestly, I feel like this was kind of a bit of a misplay from Nip because they didn't reinforce that archives wall, and I still don't understand why they didn't do it. I mean, you don't normally see that Pro League teams make mistakes in their setup, so there must be a reason for why they did it, and I think it may have been for a Nitro throw, but I'm not entirely sure.
Well, whatever it was, it still didn't matter to Julio. It was more seemed like it was a thorn in his side than a panic, as he instantly picked up that 3K return. It just, they're not capitalizing paiN. They are struggling, and this is a very different paiN side to the one we saw the other day, where they 2-0'd against Bootcamp, including a 6-0. And with the way this was going, it was a 6-0 on Border as well, actually. And the way this is going, this is almost the complete reverse.
Yeah, it should be going. Oh no, say they made it for a rotate for WAG here. Okay, so there is strategy. There is strategy from Nip here, but I still think this is a mistake, honestly. The amount of frags that went down through that wall almost lost Nip the round here. See, Spawns is going to be repelling outside the south balcony here to see what he can do. But honestly, there's not a lot of situations where I can see paiN Gaming take this round, just purely based on the fact that they didn't get so many early frags as they had done last time, and they still don't really have too much to do with the mirror windows. Sorry, they do have things to do with the mirror windows, they just haven't been doing so.
Yeah, that's totally it. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how they start trying to, I guess, utilize their setup in meetings, because whether we just didn't see it at its full power, obviously FK was there very quickly to pick up those frags. Beautiful uses as a fear there, but instantly countered by Julio. Took 3 of them to nearly half health, and at the same time, the pickup was simple for the mirror there.
There's absolutely no spacing from Nip right now, but they don't need it. It's going to be playing Julio behind the half wall now, and yeah, almost a beautiful triple kill there for GCR, but not going to find it just yet. I mean, if he had launched both of his impact nades on there, he could have got 2 downs pretty easily, but we're not going to see it going down just yet. Now I'm going to be pushing all the way around, see what he can do here, but they don't really want to contest the Maestro in this kind of fight, especially using the Type 89, having such a low mag size, and he is going to contest him, but he does win the fight. What? Julia going to peek around to try and refire potentially with the Nitro, goes out, but not going to find the kill because the Nitro will actually get shot out. So great bit of work done from paiN Gaming there, and they're going to be holding it down, but they still don't really have any picks that they need onto the site. Despite all the vertical play, they do still have in control. Julio runs out, but he will go down. As the first death for Julio this time, but Psycho going to be holding it down, does find the refrag onto 9, jumps over, but FK1 will be waiting for him just outside of the top of Metal. Beautiful picks coming out from paiN Gaming. Now, the first time they managed to take down Julio, as we move to the last 30 seconds.
Now, this is a paiN we should have been seeing earlier. They are getting those picks. They are setting themselves up. And again, that one hole, you can see they're utilizing it to apply pressure. This is what we've wanted from them and what I'm assuming they've wanted to do as well. It's just the first time it's really playing off. However, yet again, they are in a point where there is only 15 seconds left for their actual utility push. Kamikaze finds FK. Easy pickup. Wag against Revolt. Spawns, though. But PZD is there to get it. 5-0 on the defense. Match point. paiN Gaming. Where are you?
Again, that armory take was still the closest we've seen to paiN Gaming taking a victory on the attack, but they won't be able to nip flawless on the defense for 10 rounds in a row now. paiN Gaming have not been able to find a single round so far, and it's just looking like a straight 6-0 for Nip here.
Yeah. I hate to admit it, but yeah, this second map has been unbelievably swift. And as we said, the last time paiN were here on Border, they went 6-0 against Black Dragons. And I assume the Dragons will be watching this now, getting a little bit of retribution and kind of happy about that fact, as Nip have absolutely dominated this Border. Please do not board the helicopter. Right, we go to Vent and Workshop. Smoke Jaeger, Maestro, Legion, and Castle is being brought out as the immediate pick. No sixth pick there. They're going to have to pull out some tricks here to just try to start clawing back. It's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible, but it's not looking too good. They're going to have to find 5 rounds in a row here, which, you know, Nip just did.
Yep.
They're not going to bring a mirror here. Well, I mean, it's not unusual because they banned out mirror most times. They don't really like playing against it. It's kind of interesting they didn't ban the mirror this time. Instead, they banned out the Clash, but I think it's pretty obvious why they banned the Clash.
Yeah, so I mean, you had to take Clash out of the equation because she was an absolute force against you. And then we saw paiN try to use Clash, and they used her all right, but they weren't comfortable kind of basing a lot around her, basing the frags over her shoulders, which, if you're not comfortable doing it, you're not comfortable doing it. But again, no mirror. No mirror. When you are handed a mirror on Border, you are taking the vent point as well, so you're going to want that vertical control, and she is so good up there. Julio, you've said, one of the best mirror players around, just given what is arguably points of a masterclass in how to keep the control, and yet they're still not wanting to bring her. So their decision to make, but Wag is starting to push against CCTV, knows that FK1 is nearby. Bullets are flying so close as FK decides, I'm not going to take that fight just yet. Gonna take a different one and find PZD hanging around in Armory. Julio gets the return frag though.
Yeah, beautiful pick from Julio, but FK1 already taking the Asher off the board, so 2 fairly similar fragging rolls going down so early on. Not huge utility picks, but picks nonetheless. Let's go through now into 1 minute into the action phase and see how paiN Gaming want to try and return this just a little bit. As you can see, Spawns playing around the customs. And most people have decided that, okay, we don't have upstairs control anymore. Let's just move off the site and try and play it a little bit further out. Jackal tracking is going to go down. Wag's just going to open up right next to the Legion. This is not looking good at all because they know exactly where he is. It's going to force him out. The barricade, of course, is down, and Wag is expecting a run out here, but not going to come through. And just about halfway into the round now, looking pretty good for Nip because they do have a lot of control, and they have forced Legion out of it.
Well, you can see there's a minute 24. They've got a lot of control. Jackal is being used as Jackal should be used. Now, we saw a lot of Jackal pick before on the previous attacks from paiN, but he wasn't really getting those spots. He wasn't really putting that pressure on as far as we can see it. However, Julio is wasting no time at all. Psycho is starting to dig through the floor. Wag finds 9 in the meantime. Again, this is Nip seeming so dominant.
Nip seemed pretty dominant indeed. Kamikaze will start to push through, see what he can do. Still has quite a lot of utility on the board, but GCR will not let it go down that easy. Thermite so early going down before he can get a wall onto the site open. That's very disappointing to see from him. Kamikaze will recover the diffuser. 30 seconds left to go on the clock, and not looking too good for paiN Gaming here, but he is evened out 3 apiece right now.
They're looking for the Legion, and you find him, Kamikaze. Good pick right across that corridor. Julio is looking at trying to find those feet, give some information, just a little bit too out of range. Gonna start the smoke push. There is 15 seconds left. Sophia is just on shoulder, not far away, covering the entrance for Psycho as well, who takes a little bit of damage. There's Revolts with a beautiful take. Psycho gets the refrag, but Spawns is there. Suddenly a 1 versus 1. Has to go for the plant in the smoke.
And he will start to put it down. He's got 7 seconds to try and plant this down, but Spawns is going to try and rotate around and go for the kill. Goes for the pre-fire, and Spawns takes down Julio. And that will be the first plan of the map to Nip, but Spawns will successfully defuse it.
5-1. We find ourselves at 5-1 with not only the first plant, but the first defuse as well.
Yeah, so, you know, just do that 4 more times.
4 more times, easy peasy for paiN. I'll lay out in front of you as we go round 7. Now, they lost a lot of control upstairs very quickly, but it was some very good counter-fragging. We even see the aggressive impact nade from Castle there to try to get the down and the kill. And you can kind of just see on this board here, this spread of frags. FK1 has been pretty decent at picking them off, but still not a positive KD. So it's obviously it's not the biggest part of their defensive setup, at least. Armory lockers and archives we head to, and Mirror is being brought.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take a mirror on this if you have it. So hopefully we'll see a little bit good of mirror play coming out here. We'll see how it goes down as we see an Armory Lockers Archives defense. And GCR is actually going to 6-pick onto the Legion here. I think he was expecting a 6-pick from the Blitz or a Montaigne here, which would make a lot of sense. Kind of confused as to why there's no glass coming out here, but GCR is actually going to 6-pick onto the Dock. We'll see a Twitch coming out from PCD, which is actually a pretty good shout, considering there is a mirror on the board, and they've got to know there's probably going to be a mirror on the board.
Definitely. Getting rid of that mirror, or well, not getting rid, but getting it open, taking it away from the defenders, and stopping them being able to stare you down as you start to make that armory approach. This is so important, because that allows you to get into CCTV, but also that allows you to get to security room, and that just allows you so much more breathing room as attackers. At the same time, they do obviously have Julio with the shotgun jackal, so he can play some of that mirror window from underneath. You have the Zephyr charges and the Ass charges for soft destruction as well, and we did see a Zephyr charge almost get 3 in 1. So those top, bottom to top Zephyrs can be beastly. GCR setting up the bulletproof camera in security room.
Kind of an interesting bulletproof camera considering that the wall is soft as well, but we'll see how it goes down. We'll see how effectively it's used from paiN Gaming here, as they're going for some pretty aggressive mirrors as well. It looks like trying to get that early picks, but the fact that there's so much soft destruction on the board here from Nip, I don't think that's going to work out too well.
The GCR is wanting to get this pick against Jackal. We saw him do a little bit of dance as the round started, had the door open, doesn't get any bullets against it though. It's Doc, so you can pull yourself back up, and it was a roll of the dice, but unfortunately it was a crit fail, almost a 2, I would say, of a 20. But you can see that's at least going to give them food for thought. They are generally still, GCR is holding inside the Steven security. WAG is doing a big rotation towards the wall as well. They're generally closing down on that southwest side. They're starting to put pressure against GCR. FK1 holding the top of metal stairs, but again, it'll be interesting to see how paiN start to find their feet on this point.
Yeah, Revolts will still be holding it down. This mirror window is opening. We'll call that out to his teammates, saying this window is open, and it could be a pretty easy push for Nip there if they choose to go for it. But they don't have a single pick yet, but Nip haven't been a team so far on their attacks that have relied on picks, but they have relied on control. Julio, however, will find the first pick of the round. Beautiful little headshot from him. Let's just find the head of FK1.
See now Julio digging for blood. Psycho finds 9 in the meantime. That is your smoke off the board. A big take. I'm sure Nip are very happy about that. And PCD is free to close right up towards this mirror window as well on Armory. There is no resistance coming against themselves, and it seems like GCR has been pushed out. PCD finds GCR as well. This is a 5 versus 2. Now, this is seeming more and more impossible. Mirror gets an aggressive take against Kamikaze, but the diffuser is down, and so is the remaining players.
Absolutely beautiful take coming out from Nip right at the end there. Great picks all around, and really well played from Nip. will take the series 2-0 against paiN Gaming, will knock them down to the lower bracket, but Nip will secure their place in the upper bracket finals, and that has actually secured them 3rd place, which is at least $2,700.
Hey, that's better than a lot of people you'd make in some other certain tournaments we will not name, but 2-0 to Nip against paiN that came into this as a 2-0. Would you have thought such a thing would happen?
Incredible performance as well from Julio yet again. We'll take about a 10-minute break here before we move into our next game of the day. And our final game of the day is going to be FaZe Clan, who take on Immortals. Stick around, we'll be right back.